What it do? The Under the Lights podcast brought to you by the platform powered by DR Sports, dedication and respect. Mark Henry here with my guy Drew Johnson from Florida. My guy Real News 102 was going down. Hey, the playoffs are here in the state of Texas, definitely in Florida. We
Yeah.
want to talk about a couple of games from last week, what we're looking forward to in the playoffs. And as always, expose the unexposed. That's what we're here to do. Talk about a couple of players. That's on Drew's radar. We'll go to the Sunshine State, Florida, real quick. Drew,
Yeah.
take it away.
Man, first of all, I just want to shout out everybody that's been rocking with us this season, man. It's been a long
Absolutely.
year. We wrapped up the
Absolutely.
regular season this week. These
Okay.
playoff brackets were released this week. So shouts out to everybody that's been subscribing to the channel, man, showing us love on social media, on Twitter and Instagram. It's been doing what it do, you know what I mean? Like Mark said, we here to expose the unexposed. We wanted to show y'all we here we here year round, you know what I mean? We definitely under the lights, we boots on the ground. That's what we're about. So really quick, I want to preview a playoff game for you guys, one that I'll probably be at, just talking with some of the guys out here. This is one of the more competitive games that's still, close to my area, not too far. And that's Plant High School hosting Bartow High School. These are two teams with talent on both sides of the ball, two well-coached programs. So this is one I'm excited about. It's Polk County versus Hillsborough County. So it's a must-see game if you're in the area, man. It's just I know a lot of kids on the Yellow Jacket Bartow program, so I definitely want to see some of those seniors go out the right way. And one of them is 2025 senior quarterback, Mark, that we talked about on this show a couple times now, is Blake Johnson. He's having one of the better years for a quarterback at Bartow High School. And it starts with throwing to guys like 2025 wide receiver Corey Butler. He's just set a new single season record for Bartow High School with 11 touchdown receptions. That's awesome, right? This kid started off maybe slow in the preseason or that first game they had, the Jamboree game, but he's only turned it up, right? He's got his mind right. He's a leader now, so I definitely want to shout out to Corey Butler, who's just turned the season around. These college coaches need to start getting eyes on his film for sure. I want to talk about playing a little bit. They got some guys on both sides of the ball too, Mark. They finished 7-3 in this regular season. They got guys like Waltez Clark, a four-star kid, plays on both sides of the ball, has offers from majority of Power 5, Power 4 schools in the country. They also got senior quarterback J.C. Marisalo. He's been a consistent producer for this program as well. He's had a solid season for Plant. And Alex Tate, man, a tackling machine, right? That's where it starts at on the defense. These linebackers, I've been giving them the spotlight. This kid deserves one as well. That's Alex Tate, linebacker, tackling anything that moves. So, Mark, you can expect a good game here. It could be low scoring. And Plant has some home field advantage. So, you Bartow guys, y'all going to have to come with it, man. I'll let Mark preview his game real quick, talk a little bit, and I want to mention a kid that I got my eyes on this season that deserves the spotlight, Mark.
Well, definitely, man. Listen, man. Those guys know that when you step in the building, that they're getting that real from you, and that's all that we do here
Yeah.
at the platform under the lights podcast, man. Jones was a guy that you put me on. In the off season over there, very impressive. A guy that you
Yeah.
need to know about, definitely coming out of the state of Florida, man.
Yeah.
But the big game, one of the big games that I got a chance to see this weekend was a matchup of two teams fighting for playoff position out of 10-6A. And that was the Forney Rockwall Heath
Mm.
matchup. Now the Jackrabbits last year were a contender in 5A Division One that make the move up to 6A. Heath is one of those teams that puts up a lot of points, is usually a
Okay.
perennial playoff team. And listen, when I started really paying attention to this game, it was 26-7 and Heath was up. And I
Mm.
thought I was having a conversation, kind of in a text thread with a couple of people, and
Yeah.
I thought Forney's goose was cooked. I thought they were starting to lose some momentum, man. But they came out in that fourth quarter and they
Yeah.
really, really rebounded, Drew, and they got
Yeah.
the win 56-46. This was a great game in the third and fourth quarters. Man, shout out to Javion Osborne, who's one of the top 2026 running backs in the country. He's got a plethora of offers: Michigan, Texas A&M, Texas,
Oh yeah.
LSU, whatever you want to look in college football, he's got an offer. But he's been out a couple of weeks with an injury, and he comes back with like gangbusters, man. 240 yards over, just doing it great, man. 4 touchdowns on the night, and he got it done. I really was impressed with his patience in and out of the hole. But Jo has that speed to take it to the house. A powerful runner, great pad level that he runs with, and he was one of the big reasons that they got this job done. And they get into the playoffs with the win, and they'll be in the playoffs this coming week. Another kid that I wanted to spotlight from this game that I hadn't heard of or really seen that really stuck out to me was Ashton Bradford. He's a 2025 running back, 5'10", 180 pounds. He was going bananas, and he had over 200 yards rushing in a loss. But listen, going through his profile and going through his Twitter page, not a lot of action or attention from college coaches. Listen, this is a guy that you might want to get on your radar. He runs with great patience, a guy that has the speed to take it to the house from any level or anywhere on the field. And I was impressed with his game, in a loss because he was leading these guys. He was leading Rockwall Heath on the ground, and he had some big plays in the run game. And I thought he played very, very well in a tough loss against Forney. But this is a guy that college coaches at the next level will definitely be looking at. I think that, Drew, we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, how the recruiting cycles go. Well, towards the end of the year, once some of these colleges start to, not have playoff berths, at the Power Four level or, get into the off season, this is a kid that you're going to have to swing by and look at Rockwall Heat. Ashton Bradford is that guy. I was really impressed with his game. He's got the size to grow into his body once he gets to the next level. But he showed great patience in the whole. I thought he set his blocks up well. That was real impressive. And then he had that burst at the second level to go to the house with it. He had a couple of long touchdowns. I was very impressed for a guy I hadn't seen, didn't know a lot about. Definitely had him on the list to talk about today. A couple of more guys that stood out this week. One 2027 quarterback from Frisco Lone Star is Carice Hoyt. Hoyt's been a guy that's been on my radar for a couple of years. We saw him, at a 707, one of our tournaments a couple of years ago up at Lovejoy, and now he's progressing into that guy. He's going to lead Lone Star into the playoffs in the 5A Division One bracket. But he had over 285 yards, 192 yards rushing, and 5 touchdowns to get a big win over Frisco Reedy, which was, kind of a game for the district title as well, and jockeying for playoff position. Hart's about 6'2", 210. He can run, he can throw it. He's a dual threat in the 2027 class, and he's got a plenty of colleges, writing him up and talking to him right now. But he's a guy over at Lone Star that I think can take them to the next level as they start to get deep into the playoffs. As we start here in Texas this week. But, Carice Hart is a guy that I know is going to be a factor for Lone Star. And one more guy that we'll talk about, Richland High School's Deion Jones II. He's a top flight receiver, also in 5A Division One. Richland got a big win over Azle over the weekend, over 100 yards, a couple of touchdowns. He's a guy that, listen, he can get it done out in the slot. He can get it done in the return game. Get the ball in his hands, and he makes magic happen. I really like what Deion Jones does. I've been covering Richland for a couple of years now, and he's always been a guy, a playmaker on that field. And he's going to be a reason that if they do make a deep playoff run, it's going to be through him. He's a guy that's a senior now. And they have a guy as well as Jay Sean Gibson that's coming in the 2027 class that should be a factor along with the quarterback Kate. So, Richland will be a team to watch in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, brother. Shouts out to my guy Ben, right? I got Ben. We missing him for today, but I got our banners going now. He'll be seeing that. He'll get on me. But you mentioned a key word, man, as we wrap up the regular season and go into these playoffs, and that's seniors, right? Man, you seniors, it's starting to wrap up, right? With these college coaches that's reaching out. I've seen a lot of kids starting to commit a little earlier. That's kind of the new thing now. So for you seniors, don't be playing around waiting too long, man. Sometimes you just got to pull that trigger and, you know what I'm saying, go where they showing you love at. But Mark mentioned some kids that's been balling on the scene. I definitely want to, do my thing and, share some exposure, put the spotlight on some kids. And it starts with, I got to mention the Windermere program, Mark. My basketball heads for sure know about this name, but this football team and program finished 10-0 for the first season ever undefeated, right? And it's one of the only two teams in Central Florida besides Jones who went undefeated. So they definitely deserve the spotlight, Mark. This team hasn't won more than 3 games in like 10 years, right? I'm going back to Max Prep. They ain't even had no more years I could go back. It wasn't more than 1, 2, 3 wins. So to go undefeated definitely does deserve the spotlight, but it starts with a leader under center like 2025 quarterback Jack Riley, man. We just wrapped up his senior season as a 10-0 FACA All-District 11 Player of the Year, single game school record, single season school record, career school record, right? It's just a record-breaking season for this kid, and to lead a program who hasn't had more than 3 wins to go undefeated, come on, dog. You deserve the spotlight, right? Had nearly 2,400 passing yards with 28 total touchdowns, with almost 140 QBR. Mark, you know your QBRs, man. Just a good sized kid, 6'2", 200 pounds. Another one of Balin Trujillo's quarterback trainees, man. I've been mentioned Balin a couple times. If you're in the Florida area, the Central Florida area, this guy's the quarterback guru out here right now. So the kid, of course, has the mechanics, has the footwork, the maneuver in the pocket, strong arm, good accuracy, but and ball placement. But Mark, some of those guys, are just winners, man. You know what I mean? At the quarterback position, it's just guys on the defensive side, your offensive line, your running backs, they run a little bit harder, right? Your offensive line block a little bit better, right? They just feed off of winning energy, feed off of guys like this that makes crucial plays in close games, that kept the undefeated season alive. So I definitely wanted to share the spotlight for this kid. Deserves it. That's Jack Riley out of Windermere High School, 2025 quarterback, man.
Well, the thing I know you mentioned about the recruiting cycles and committing
Yeah,
early. A lot of the guys in the 2025 class, and really it's kind of started last year, the 24 class, they got those commitments out of the way early.
yeah,
That saves your spot.
yeah,
That makes you have a spot within that program that, hey, you've declared this is where you're going to go. And it
yeah.
also gives the coaching staff a chance to lock you in as well.
Mm,
So, and with the transfer portal and the way things are happening in college football, it's affecting high school recruiting. So
yeah,
anybody that has a chance to slot themselves within a program, and that program's the right fit, it's the right
yeah,
scheme for you. They have a plan for you, like you said. Go
yeah,
where you're loved, not tolerated. That's the big thing, and I thought you hit on a great point with that.
yeah.
How's that being received, and you're seeing that trend starting to happen.
Well, I can tell you, brother, just being around the neighborhood, right? Growing up in Polk County, I've seen it happen, right? Where kids will wait in the recruiting cycle. They'll have a couple offers before the season, right? Then they'll have a good season and it starts building momentum. They start getting a couple better offers, right? But as you know, these are verbal offers. A majority of these offers, when it's not time to sign that what's the name? These are verbal. These aren't committable offers. So some kids, they let people get in their ear. They start waiting and waiting and waiting, like, man, that might even get a bigger offer, right? And they lose out on everything. And now they're in the neighborhood. So I just hate to see that. It's bigger than football for me. It's about the community, man. I just want to make sure brothers are, for one, helping your parents out, man. If you find a school that's showing you some love, you get a financial, you get help to go to school. That's one thing you need to do off the rip. You know what I mean? But if you got some talent and the school is rolling a red carpet out for you, it might not be the biggest school, but if it's a great situation for you, academics is good, safe area, man, I would go, man. You could build it. Was like Mark mentioned with the transfer portal. Things are different now, but you got to start somewhere, man. You got to get your foot in the door. And I just hate seeing brothers that get left behind, right? Streets take a lot of brothers, but the recruiting cycle takes them as well. They keep playing around waiting. So you made a good point, Mark. Really quick, though, really quick, Windermere program, I want, just in case they go back and watch this, Bryce Speed, senior athlete, has almost 100 receiving yards a game, has contributed to that as well. Henry Rogers, junior running back, and CJ Brano, Mark. Brano, I might not be pronouncing it right, but there's a family. These guys got a whole family of ball players. Has 6 INTs right now. I think he plays both sides of the ball, but he's mainly a ball hawk, defensive back. He deserves the spotlight too, Mark. But we definitely talking about something bigger than football, in my opinion, man.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to know how this process goes, and that's something that we kind of talk about from week to week, right here on the platform Under the Lights podcast.
Yeah,
Where the platform is here to expose the unexposed,
for sure.
and we want to shed the light on hidden gems. We want to give these guys the exposure that they need. This is why we do this. We like Drew says all the time, boots on the ground every
Yeah,
week. Shout out to my guy Ben Spicer,
yeah.
who's been working in the background as well. But before we get out of here, I want to mention one more guy. Was talking with a couple of scouts this week. A guy down in the San Antonio area that's a 2025,
Mm,
probably a little bit unheralded. But listen, if you turn on the tape, you see that this guy runs hard. He works hard. He markets himself very,
yeah,
very well.
yeah.
And I've been seeing this guy for a couple of years. That's Jared Moreno Jr. from Antonio
Okay.
Prep down in San Antonio. He's a running back, can play in the slot, return kicks, play a little defense as well. I think at the next level, he'll probably be, probably a guy that comes in at running back, may even move to the slot. He has good enough
Yeah,
hands that he could do it. Very quick, very agile in between the tackles. But, he's a guy that's definitely be playing at the next level. But
Yeah,
I really like what Moreno Jr. does with the ball in his hands, and he's a guy that's been a factor for Antonio Prep this season. He's a touchdown machine. He runs hard.
yeah,
Great pad level, Drew. You'll love this guy when you see him on
yeah,
film, man. And he's a guy that down in the San Antonio area that may
yeah,
not be getting a lot of the fanfare, but he's a guy that I think college coaches will love when they finally get a chance to ink this guy and get him in the program. I think at the
yeah,
next level, he'll get a chance to flourish wherever that will be. But I love what my guy Jared Moreno Jr. is doing, and I definitely wanted to mention him. I was talking with a couple of scouts out of San Antonio this week, and he'll get somewhere. We just don't know where. But that's the
yeah,
perfect opportunity for a guy to get to chance to play at the next level. Which I was reading something this week, and you can talk about this as well. The percentage is small. There's a lot of high schools you get an opportunity, but when it goes to getting to the next level, when we talk about collegiate football or collegiate athletics is
yeah.
7% or less. Then it's the 1% of the 1% when you talk about professional football or
Right.
professional athletics. So you have to take advantage of your opportunity. You have to take advantage of every opportunity you get when you're on the field. Marketing yourself, the correct exposure. Getting in front of the right eyes, getting in front of the right people to help you with exposure, and that's what we do here at the Platform Under Lights podcast. Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, and Mark mentioned, exposure is a huge piece of what we're about. But we also, you got to mention education, right? We're about educating the student athlete about how they can, help themselves get to the next level. Mark can contest to this as well. We see a lot of kids on the 7v7 circuit who don't even have a social media set up. They're nearing their senior season and they're not even posting highlights or not contacting coaches. It's they're behind the ball. So we also want to educate people as well as much as we can when it comes to what we know about the recruiting cycle. So
Yeah.
exposure and education is going to be a huge piece when you come and perform at a DR Sports tournament and you get some love from the platform. We here to educate and we here to expose too, man.
Absolutely, and then I'll close with this. Some guys, this was their final game. Could be possibly their final game when they hang up the high
Yeah,
school cleats.
yeah,
But if you have the skill set and you have the opportunity to play at the next level, hey, this is where you get. Just like Drew said, do something every day now to get that exposure out. Whether it's putting your highlights from the season together, putting your highlights from week to week, you have to start thrusting that out to coaches and colleges right now so that you can get that opportunity to be seen. These college coaches, some of their seasons are going to be coming to a close. Those GAs, those recruiting analysts, are going to start reviewing film now. Push
yeah,
it out there. Market yourself in the correct manner so that you get that last look because some of the FCS, the D2, the D3s, they'll start to come around now late for those 2025 guys that have been kind of flying under the radar. But put that highlight package together, get it out, shoot it out, So this is what this here's a little nugget, Drew, and
yeah,
I'll get you to chime in on this before we get
yeah.
out. If you're putting things out, what is the first thing everybody does in the morning? They pick up their phone.
Pick up their phone, man.
College coaches are up early in the morning looking at film and things. The first thing you want to do when they wake up is have that email right there,
Yeah,
that tweet in their DM.
yeah,
Get it done early. Come back at noon. Do the same thing, and
yeah.
then come back before dinner. But guys are going to be up and at them early. So the earlier you get those things out, the better it is. That's just a little nugget we can share, Drew, and I know you can attest to that.
Yeah. So well, I've been seeing if you look on social media now, it's a lot of kids posting, you know what I mean? They wrapping it up, right? It's like they final post, which I don't understand, it's a lot to go, right? This is the beginning, but I understand it. I was a high schooler before. I played ball. I know how it is when you wrap it up. So I just
Exactly.
don't want them to think that's over, man. Like you said, like
Right.
Mark said, continue to stay in that marketing yourself mindset. Stay every morning. You know what I mean? Keep reaching out to schools. If you're not where you are at recruiting cycle, keep reaching out every morning. Follow up. This is where you learn, how to become a young man, right? And start doing things for yourself and not having to rely on parents or whatnot. So utilize social media the best way you can. It's a tool, man. That's what social media is. It's a tool, and just use it at your best ability. But we're definitely here to help. And I just want to say, like I said in the beginning, man, appreciate everybody that's been tuning in under the lights. This is something we wanted to do for the high school kids. We definitely finna smash 7v7 like we always do, man. But this is what we're here for as well, right? Boots on the ground. That's what we are at the platform. You're gonna see Marc everywhere. You're gonna see a Drew Johnson everywhere. So Ben Spicer as well, man. Just the big three type thing, right? Shout to my guy Nick as well. So we coming for 7v7. Y'all do y'all part, we will as well, man. So that's all I gotta say, Marc.
Man, absolutely, man. Another great show right here under the lights, the platform under the lights, powered by DR Sports, dedication and respect sports. Listen, tap in. We'll, like Drew said, we appreciate everybody. Hit that like and subscribe
Yes.
button. This is how you'll know when the new episodes come out. The platform here to expose the unexposed. For Drew Johnson, Ben Spicer, I am Mark Henry. We'll be back under the lights next week.
Yes, sir.